Hello and welcome to.
Swine Brother reviews games.
We're reviewing several games actually.
Uh-huh. Now, if you're going to be from the same franchise, a couple are not.
Yes, a couple Fallout games.
This is going to be spoilerific, people, because there's no other way to talk about for us to talk about these games.
No, so
So
also
after we sit here and give our approval, okay, on the game. I know that some of the games we're going to be covering here.
to
uh,
quote.
Magical Diary, kind of fun if you want a visual novel. It's very girly, very, very girly. You'll need to listen to Flower Metal to ease your way back into anything masculine. Yes,
Or
that
watch Gem
applies
and
to
the
you women
holograms.
too.
Or watch Gem and the holograms, as my friend had to do.
Mm-hmm. But it's one of those things that I would kind of recommend if you're into like kind of a girly kind of take
It
on.
was weirdly fun. Long live the Queen.
Yes, that one's a definite recommend. That one's not nowhere near as girly, although yeah, you're a female protagonist.
It was fun.
It was fun, and
Yeah,
there's a lot of sadistic, twisted things you could do. Plus, you could try to be the good guy in it. So it had a lot of
Anchorhead.
options. Even though I will say, unless you figure out how the leveling system works, you will die frequently because you will never know which skill checks you
Oh
need
my
without a
God,
guide.
yes. We had to cheat, but
Well, I
uh,
cheated for him. I didn't have to cheat on my first playthrough, and
mm, Anchorhead, which is a Lovecraftian text adventure, which I'll be explaining because he's never played it because he's not very fun and probably shits his pants. You play as a woman, but that's all the girly stuff in it. It's pure Lovecraftian horror.
all right, Fallout 1 through 4. 1,
Not so much
yes.
two.
2, yes. 3, New
Four,
Vegas,
yes.
awesome. Yes, that ranks up there with 1 and 2. 4, okay, the mechanics are addictive. The story really sucks, and dear God, it turns your brain into mush thinking about it. It's a
I
first
also
person
have.
shooter, and, Blindy here ain't gonna like it because, story is. The story and the ways you interact with the world are prominent to him. If it's just bang, 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 he's not going to be too into it. I liked some of the elements in it, and some of the things were pretty good, but that's another thing.
There's also some books that we're going to talk about. Some are adult, some are kids, because I grew up around the 90s and 2000s. So I grew up around like Harry Potter and stuff like that. I want to talk about that just based on world building and things like that. And there's another quartet I want to mention that's more of a kids thing, but it actually it there's a plot point I want to bring up from that book from the series, which falls into Fallout 4. So I'm just giving you and also some Pathfinder games as well.
Well, there's only the one Pathfinder video game. We
Yes,
have yet to complete the actual adventure path,
I'm just
that
gonna
the
say
pen
right
and
now.
paper one.
To quote TV tropes, all spoilers are unmarked.
Uh huh.
Okay, if you do not if you do not want to listen to spoilers, please stop listening now.
Yeah. And
Okay,
yes,
another
the
Path.
Pathfinder Kingmaker, that's a definite yes, yes, yes.
We just finished that game, and I'm still reeling.
Oh, yeah. And now for the spoilers.
So many spoilers.
So,
Um,
shall we start with the creme de la crop, the thing that's still fresh in our brain?
Okay, so Jim, who are your favorite characters from Pathfinder Kingmaker?
Oh, God. Favorite? Uh, I'd have to say
Yeah.
Harem. Harem's
Okay.
definitely up there. I just love, the way that he never sheds his nihilism. Even if you do the ultimate good thing with him, it's never shed. He is just pure nihilist. But it evolves and matures as a nihilism with him. Instead of okay, everything's point. Instead of everything pointless, like everything's pointless, but you might as well enjoy your way on to the end.
You might as well enjoy your way. Practice moderation, because as even the satanic creeds say, the satanic laws, abstinence leads to suffering, but so does overindulgence.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I like Heron. He's just. Who else?
Lindsay's good with the childish thing. I think that was done well.
God, I'm. I got emotional when she died. I knew she died.
She didn't technically die. She's just a book now.
Yeah, but that was still like.
Yeah.
Again, people, all spoilers are unmarked.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I know, but I was still like, no, don't kill her. Yeah, Lindsay was great. She was, I think, like 5 or 6 years ago, I would have hated Lindsay. And you know why I would have hated Lindsay?
Yeah, because you had to prove yourself to be cool instead of, okay, life's life, what's next?
Because, she's very hyperactive and very, and very, oh, on my book, my book, my book. And I would have been like, oh, shut up. These days, she's cute.
Uh-huh.
Who else would be your favorites?
Oh, God. I'm trying to think here.
You know who my favorite is.
You go ahead.
I would have to say Octavia. Um, Not just because she reminds me of a certain someone who forgives all of my many, many, many transgressions. But okay, she's a sweetheart. Um, but she's not afraid to speak her mind. She's she's good, but she's not annoying good.
Uh-huh.
I like her. I like Raganga as well because he's like I mean. So I had a very bad dungeon master, game master once. Jim, I told you about this guy. He thought
Yeah.
that because I was
He
evil, I
didn't know how
can't.
to use alignments and tried to railroad people. Which, alignments are just a tool to help define, characteristics and what people expect out of the campaign. If
Whereas
someone
Reg,
chooses good, they want to save the world. If they choose neutral, they're trying to, just be your typical adventurer. If they choose evil, then, you start plotting whether this is going to be some dark thing where they're going to try to be introspective with it, or if they're going to run around and have baby eating contests.
whereas Reg was basically a nice guy. Um, you know,
Uh-huh.
psychotic. He actually asked Heron why he didn't smile.
Uh-huh.
I mean, and like I said, I mean, he was just very well done.
Yeah.
Uh,
But the dungeon master he was talking about, what did he do?
I don't. I think I tried to romance someone. I don't. It was kind of a while ago. I don't remember if it was. I'm going to say romance because I think that's what it was. And he said, "You can't romance this person." Well, why not? Because she's good and you're evil. And wait, what? Yeah, you can't romance a good character because you're evil. So you would just fight all the time.
You see, if you're in service to certain good aligned deities or evil aligned deities, yeah, you can't because that's part of their canon. And, your
Was
paladins and blackguards, they have certain orders and certain things within their canon which say, yeah, if a paladin knowingly adventures with evil character because lawful good, then he loses his powers. Same thing with a blackguard knowingly adventuring with a good aligned character unless he's meaning to sow disorder and destroy them from within.
it was nothing like that. I was not a blackguard or she was not a
Yeah.
paladin. It was
I mean,
just
this is all part of, the religious ethics, ethics and morality in the game.
yeah.
It's like saying, oh, wow, chaotic people can't live in a lawful society and they always have to act random. No, that's not how chaotic works.
No, or better yet, I
Chaotic's
can't.
just generally far more random than anyone else, but it's not stupidly random.
Or it would be like saying that, oh, I can't be in love with a Christian.
Yeah, really.
Now,
You're a
I
Satanist.
remember.
I mean, hell, you're a Satanist. I can't hang out with you because I'm a Christian. Oh, wow,
I remember.
And one of the things people don't get with alignment is, there's this path of redemption that good guys believe, and this path of corruption that evil guys get into.
I mean,
so that's why they want to sit there and hang out with people on the exact opposite end.
yeah, back when I was like 19 years old, I asked Glenn Benton from Deicide, like, I want to date a Christian girl, but I don't know, am I allowed to? And I could kick myself for that.
Mm-hmm.
And even he was like, what the fuck do I care? And I was like, oh. So, but anyway, so I like those two. Lindsay, as you said. I like Jubilos because, okay, he's arrogant and he
Oh,
he
yeah.
know he knows he's hated.
Mm-hmm.
He 100% realizes he's hated. He just doesn't care. But he's usually honest.
Which, that's good.
Amiri,
Mm-hmm. That's...
Blood for Goro.
Blood for Gorum.
She just wants to kill everything.
Mm-hmm.
I like Valerie. We didn't get to know Valerie as much, but I like her.
I got to know Valerie pretty well, and
I did
on
too.
another playthrough, and
Yeah.
it's lawful neutral done very well. Very well.
I thought she was pretty. Yeah, I thought she was done
Astute
well.
with honor, but not to the point where it's completely annoying.
No. Who is your least favorite character, Jim?
Oh, God, Tristan.
Who's meant to be the good character? We were playing as a woman named Sarah Scumfuck.
Okay, I've played through the game, like, a couple times now. Okay. Once without Elliot, once with, and,
I've looked it up on TV Trends.
I went through it and got, like, the ending where everyone survived. And dear God, Tristan does not get any better if you nurture him to be more tolerant, more human, and all this. It's like, no.
Tristan is the one TV Tropes recommends him as the love interest if you're a female character.
No.
And everyone seems to worship his ass. Like, I like Jethal. Holy shit, yes.
Oh, yeah. That was some nice... Even her path of redemption is good. Getting her to switch sides from, Urgotha to Pharasma. From undeath to chasing down and slaughtering undead.
Yes. By the way, everyone, I just want to point out, I've only played it once. He's played it a couple times. I've looked up the shit on TV Tropes and places like that, so I do know what he's talking about. But anyway, okay, the thing about Tristan, even if Jethal kills him, there's no whatever, I didn't like him very much option. He just comes across as annoying. Octavia's the kind of good that I like.
Mm-hmm.
Tristan is the kind of the sanctimonious.
Now, he didn't get to know Ikun very well because we decided to side with the trolls of Trobald and make peace with them, which obviously would piss off Ikun. I kind of liked Ikun, but it wasn't like this, oh wow, I'm totally into this character kind of thing. I mean, he was relatable, but at the same time so barren aside from, like, a bunch of, like, cliches. Like, the genocidal side of lawful good, that's always good to have. So people don't sit there and think of it as, like, this monolithic thing.
I like the twins.
The twins were fun. Of course, Canaro was much more fun.
I like the twins, but they weren't as developed as the others were, I don't think.
Yeah, well, they were also DLC property.
Yeah.
They were just shoehorned in because, we had to introduce new class and new race.
Knock Knock's fun. He is comic relief, but he is fun.
Mm-hmm.
I like, and one of the surprising ones that I like was Nyrissa.
Oh, Nyrissa, God. I mean, that's a sympathetic villain. True blue.
Okay.
I mean...
Okay. Jim told me when we first met, maybe, I don't know, a couple months after we first met, online at least, to read a book called The Damnation Game.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate sympathetic villains because most people cannot do sympathetic villains very well. Even Magical Diary can't do sympathetic villains. Well, yeah, Magical Diary could do sympathetic villains very well with the cute demon,
yeah,
cuddly demon guy. I thought the Damnation Game did Sympathetic D Mammalian, I thought he did was pretty well done. The last chapter was a little bit like whatever, where his pieces were trying to come back together. I thought that was like, I gotta extend the word count. But I thought, so this is another thing where I thought Nyris's backstory was the right amount of sympathetic villainy. We didn't do the one where she was married because we had several romantic relationships. But so
Yeah, I showed him two endings. One where we got to pull the prank, and the other one where we became immortal under her.
yes, and I have seen the one where, well, I've looked up the one where they fall in love.
Now, you see, one thing I don't understand is the easy route to romance her is to be a good alignment character, but really that's a stretch for a good alignment character to want to be with her. It would make more sense to be an evil aligned character because, yeah, you kind of respect what she did in order to get what she wanted.
Yes, but you've never heard of the people who like to tame stray dogs?
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying I hate the fact that it's like a good only option and like there's a perfectly evil reason to just respect her. Just like, God, yeah. I loved Lander. Yeah. Lander was awesome.
I mean, anyone who, like, of course he's going to betray us, but yeah, I like Lander. Lander's cool.
Oh, God, everything, including the inevitable betrayal. The only thing I really wish is that there was an option just to say, no, now you are my shackled advisor. You are my shackled regent. You are forced to stay within my kingdom and do your regent duties, but you cannot escape me in death. But I respected you enough for trying to betray me when I was at my most vulnerable in the middle of a giant war, going on in the middle of the battlefield, leading my troops. I respect the fact you tried to backstab me there. In fact, I would have done the same thing in your position because I'm evil.
Yes, so the thing about Nyris is, of course, she looked innocent, and then she was basically the main antagonist. But like I said, there's something about it that I respect. I mean, she had to slaughter almost 1,000 kingdoms.
She had to slaughter 1,000 kingdoms in order to make her proper apology.
Think about how many died.
I know. I mean, hell, I know that's part of the end sequence, which, yeah, oh, God. That's just a slog to get through battle-wise. If I didn't cheat for your run, yeah, you would have cried.
I probably would be asleep right now. You know what? Screw it, Jim. You do it. Wake me up when it's done. Yeah, I've heard that was turn-based is not the best for a huge fight like that.
Yeah.
But so I liked her. I mean, it's very rare. Even if I liked books, like I read 5 books called the Soul Rider series by Jack Chalker, and they were great books, but I never really felt anything emotional for the characters because Jack Chalker had a thing for transformations, and so not just physical but mental transformations. So at one point, the girl's a warrior. Now she's a housewife with 10 kids, and in the next book she's in a lesbian relationship with her former husband, who's now a woman, and she has a penis for a tongue.
Yeah.
Okay, which is hilarious, but at the same time, and that's just one girl. I mean, the other one was, first she was like a farm girl, then she became a priestess, then a housewife. There's so many transformations going on. I felt I wasn't able to really get emotionally close to the characters because you never knew what they were going to be. Great books, but this one I got emotional. I got close with that last speech, before the final battle.
Yeah.
I
like talking to all my companions right before the final battle. That still makes me emotional.
Yeah. And he's played it more than once. but I didn't expect the one that really was Octavia's tribute to Lindsay. I was like, oh fuck,
That was
because
cute.
it felt so genuine. The voice actor for Octavia really did a great job.
Putting emotion into it and shit, making it sound like, this is believable character.
But not overdoing it.
I mean, there were some people that were voiced that you or just pure deadpan. Others you could tell they put a lot more into it.
Fallout New Vegas was particularly bad. Okay, now we're gonna wrestle up some varmints, and now we're gonna shoot some coyotes. Yeehaw! I was just like, I can't. I mean, it was a great game, but but New Vegas, or I'm sorry, Kingmaker just had some great voice acting,
Mm-hmm.
especially. So, yeah, and like I said, I mean, the dedication of those people was just. I got emotional. I'm not afraid. And I like Lindsay's polite snark as well.
Mm-hmm.
The other people weren't happy about it, but oh well.
Oh, fuck them. I liked it. It was cute.
I didn't like Tartuccio very much.
Oh, he's supposed to be a bastard that you don't like. I
I'm not
actually
talking.
liked the quality of voice acting. They did a good job voice acting him.
I'm
I
not
wanted to
talking about.
smash him.
I'm not talking about personality wise. I'm just talking about character wise.
Mm.
He was just kind of whatever. Oh no, the voice acting was great. Why are you slaying us? No, the voice acting was great. No, the voice acting's great. But just the character himself. Although I do like that he tried to frame us for being a Pataxian spy, even though that's exactly what he was. The Sword Lords. See, I'm conflicted about the Sword Lords. Were they genuine, or did Jamandi think I'm going to offer this fucking thing to anyone who can kill the Stag Lord and use them as puppets?
Either which way, that's good to keep that mystery going. Well,
We fucked
are we
over the
just a
sword
useful tool, or are we like actual legit allies now? Because she initially felt indebted, and we proved some service to her.
because, well, I started thinking about it because I mean, she literally handed this land to anyone who killed the Stag Lord, which could mean a bandit, which could mean anyone. But we didn't get to meet the Stag Lord very much. We just kind of killed him.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I liked Mordecai. I mean, Megavarn. I mean, Mordecai. I mean, uh,
Mega Varn, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Oh God, I just
I
loved how much. Oh God, that was like so over the top. I'm fucking evil, bitches.
that was one of the
You just
things.
you just risk destroying the world to attain an advisor.
That was one of the things that I didn't know because I was busy looking up the companions or whatever. So I knew all about their backstories, but I did not know. Like, I honestly when he's would you like to work for me or whatever, or, as my advisor, like, we could do that.
Yeah, we can get him to work for us. Yes, yes, let's do that.
And
It
just, I
just took
mean,
sacrificing the soul of Mega Varn.
I like the DLC. Well, okay, I don't. Okay, my problem with the DLC is, other than the three people, like I didn't care. They were just mercenaries. So when we took our option was, of course, telling the Horde Hunter, oh yes, we would love to be powerful. Of course, we turned into a mimic and ate all our mercenary friends. It wasn't the Horde Hunter. Or Lantern King or whatever. I thought he was pretty well done.
Oh yeah.
I thought not just the voice acting. If you're the voice actor of the Horn Hunter or the Lantern King and you're listening to this, you did a fucking great job, guy.
Mm-hmm.
But I just thought that he was very well done and pretty funny.
Oh, he was fucking hilarious. I mean, and I especially love the fact that everything, all this suffering, all this untold misery, was just a joke,
It was a
just part
joke,
of his theater.
and so there's a lot of things that I liked. Whereas other games like Fallout 3, I remember Moira Brown. Aw, she's adorable.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, you mentioned Jericho when we were off microphone, and it literally took me 5 seconds to Jericho. Oh yeah, Jericho. Fallout 3, I remember the places and I remember the jokes more than I remember the characters because they were pretty blah.
Yeah.
Um, New Vegas, I remember some of the characters. Of course, Raul, Alfonso Tejada,
Mm-hmm.
motherfucker. Uh, I liked Veronica.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so 4. 4 is a game that I gave up on. You played it all the way through. I got really bored.
Mm-hmm.
It was the only game where I actually fell asleep while you were doing something. When you were building the settlement, I actually was like, um, Fallout 4.
See, I like the mechanics of it, some of the mechanics,
Yeah.
but like there was so much of it that it's just a first-person shooter with basic base building mechanics.
Now I'm okay.
And that there were some of the big picture ideas I really liked, but they executed them so poorly that the writing's horrendous.
Okay, Kingmaker made me care about the characters. I read what happens if you don't complete Octavia or fucking Reg's quest, and that was actually we completed it in real life. But I read what happened if you don't. It was heartbreaking because they were written so well. You actually got to think of them as more than just fictional characters. It was like, no, oh God, no, no, no. Whereas, I'm sorry, 4. I don't care that I lost my kid. We had one scene with him, and he was scenery.
Well, everyone complains about that, and everyone complains about Preston giving out the damn quests all the time. But he has such a tear-jerking heartbreaker story arc, and it's just like, yeah, but this is like every cliche.
It was
I
the
wanted
same
to do the
with
right thing, but then everyone backstabbed.
if you'll forgive this for a second. As a kid, I read a book called The Giver, and I guess in 2012 she published the 4th book in that series, and I read it just to see. You read books from your childhood or whatever, and if there's a new installment, you might want to see just how the story concludes or whatever.
Yeah.
So I read it, and it was a girl looking for her son because she was the only one in that community that had. Okay, if you've never read The Giver, you won't understand what the fuck I'm talking about. But she was the only one in that community which had maternal feelings of love for the kid, and even after becoming shipwrecked on a basically like a island community of like weird Scandinavian things. Even after becoming shipwrecked for 6 years, she's still looking for her kid. Losing her memory or whatever. She's still looking. Keep in mind, she has no idea if when the kid escaped from the community. Again, read the fucking book. Uh, she has no idea if the kid's alive or dead, but she's still looking for the kid and is going to risk everything to find it. The same thing with Fallout 4. It was like I have no idea if this kid's alive. If I had a clue that this kid was alive or not, then maybe I would like
Yeah, the
believe
moment
it.
you heard you were cryo frozen for 200 years, I mean, an intelligence 1 or 2 character, yeah, I could see being stupid enough that you think it's all the time. You hit 3, you at least have some general concept that you could have been defrosted, a century apart.
I'm not
You
saying
know,
give up. I'm not saying give up and just face the. But that being your only thing, I would be a little bit more focused on trying to adapt first, and you know.
yeah,
But and besides, you have no clue. If you had a clue, that your son was alive, then I could understand perfectly wanting to find him. But you have no idea. You could have been defrosted 10, 20, 200 years ago. You could have been defrosted last week, and your son, was killed in the week that you don't know.
well, you see, everyone complains about that.
I know, but you know what? I don't. Fuck you.
Uh,
I'm complaining about it because
you
it's
see,
me.
but the one thing I do like is whenever you actually do get to meet him. That was at least done pretty nicely. wasn't done. The writing still sucks, but at least, you know, meeting him was pretty interesting.
Another thing about Kingmaker is the exposition was actually done well. I complained in 4 about the exposition when you were inside that one guy's head.
Oh God, yeah, that was.
Whereas in Kingmaker,
I'm glad. I don't know if it was something they patched in or whatever, but you could just run straight to the end and ignore everything except for the last bit.
Oh, thank God. Because, yeah, I thought the exposition was very bad. Whereas in Kingmaker, I thought it was very good. I joked, because Lindsay, as a book, and then the Queen, because we played as a Queen, wondered, why is this book talking about Lindsay being murdered? And I said, because it was a writer's cheap way of the exposition. But no, I thought the exposition was actually quite well done.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that you can make choices. I mean, you had to make a certain amount of choices to keep your alignment at whatever you wanted it, which you don't have to quite do in a regular RPG, which is...
Yeah, that was a real video gamey aspect that really...
I know.
They should have used it a lot less. I mean, the options they had tagged for, like, you know, this is alignment exclusive, should have been available as an option, but it should have majorly pinned your fucking alignment closer to good, evil, lawful, chaotic. You know, because these were the big ones, and actually it makes sense that they're big, but they should have been available to all alignments, whereas the other ones they put in as alignments all the fucking time.
Because what if you had a plan, but your plan actually, you know, it was a chaotic evil plan?
I mean, my big problem was, okay, the Pitax thing. Whenever you go up against King Iravetti, he asks you what you're going to do with this kingdom if you should win. Now, this is your response directly impacts what happens to Pitax after you kill him and the ending you get. And it's like, well, what if I just told him this as a mock? You know, because it's a fucking combat you're getting into. This is a combat taunt. You're going to fucking belittle him. You know?
Yeah. If you and I had a
I mean, you could build the place to be the greatest fucking lawful good district, but you select the thing saying, I'm going to fucking make your reign seem like a fucking paradise compared to the golden age compared to the way I'm going to run this country into the ground. And then, literally, that's what happens. And it's like, well, that's a battle taunt, you know. Now you took my battle taunt to be canon.
Okay, if you and I were to ever get into combat, which I would win because I'm just better, I would... If you asked, what are you going to do with my stuff if you should win, I'm going to tell you, like, the most insulting thing possible.
Yeah,
I'm not going to tell you...
burn it and shit all over, but instead I know you'd go through it saying, well, this band's cool, I could pawn that, this is cool, that sucks.
Yeah, exactly. But to your face, I'm going to shit all over it. So that's a problem. But what if you had a chaotic evil plan, but it involved making good choices, like, say, saving the house from goblins in order to advance your heroic image, so you can, you know, do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah, the crime.
You can house more.
As long as there's no witnesses and there's a reliable scapegoat. Because, you know, they just had a goblin invasion in town, so everyone's thinking, and there's still goblins hiding here and there, as evidenced by, you should feed your closet, you should feed your house more. That was a good line.
That was a great line.
There's a lot of things that go in my mind. I don't just let them get away with their crimes, as Elliot also found out.
Yeah.
Because I'm sitting there trying to play this guy. He's a prophet of Boink, one of my deities. And he was trying to act all hardcore, selling hardcore drugs, saying, do you want enough for personal use, or do you want enough to poison the town's water supply? And that automatically put the idea in his head because he just flies by his seat when he's alone. He needs a second player to rein him in. Me as DM, I can't rein him in because it's not my job to tell him these things. It's my job to have the world react to his actions.
Even when we've had second players, they don't do a very good job of reining me in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I need someone.
But he went there to the place without a plan. Framed because he sit there. I asked him, well, okay. I gave him a bone. I gave him a potion of alter self. And his main thing was, okay, well, he couldn't think of who he wanted to look like. So I sat there, and the NPCs that he knew, I rolled a die and said, okay, you look like him. And it just wound up being the steed for it's a complicated story. It was the assistant to Fidget Bastard, our gnomish oracle of Abadar.
And a friend.
Mm-hmm. And he wanted this guy to be his friend. He was cool. He liked him. It was Damiel, the iconic, which I had to corrupt for him.
So we did it, and they spotted me, and I flew away.
Yeah, but he looked like him. And whenever they got back to town, because, people talk and send news, and especially, someone's suspected of attempting to poison the water supply with hallucinogens, and he looked like Damiel, and she had to bribe people and fucking work the system and all this shit just to get him off the hook because she knew it wasn't him because he was with her. But they're pissed off because they saw him. So, and she realized that one person was missing and is now back. And he was missing specifically during the time frame it would have taken to go there, do this, and come back. So, while he was sleeping, she cast Hold Person on him. Then while he couldn't move, she woke him up by pissing in his face and said, I own you now. You will do as I say.
I mean, I'm damn lucky she just didn't kill me. So anyway, we had adventures and finally made it up with the gnome or the elf. I'm sorry, and eventually got to poison the water.
You're still nowhere near good, but at least he can respect you a little bit more now.
And eventually, legitimately poison the water supply. But yes, that was a joke, and I don't know why I didn't. I don't know if I was really tired that day or I just didn't think things through. I mean, even I look at it, wow, that was pathetic.
Yeah. Not a plan, not ask. You didn't even. I mean, I would have been honest in tactics because I understand you don't understand a lot of the game mechanics.
I'm trying not to understand the game mechanics, if I'm honest. It's a lot more fun that way.
Okay. That's fine, too.
I mean, I have a friend, I'll mention her name, Josie. And I said, tell me about this, or, but just don't tell me the game mechanics. And she said, of course I'm not going to tell you the game mechanics. It's fun that you don't know them. I like to see the decisions you make, either on video or me telling her. So that's kind of why people watch or why people, listen, because I make these insane choices. But even that was stupid. I'll freely admit that was a stupid choice. So Jaethel, I like Jaethel's her story. I mean, she had kids for no other reason than to sacrifice them.
No, she had a kid that she was willing to let go because, she wanted her to become undead like her, following mother's footsteps. The only reason she sacrificed her kid was she found another way to please her goddess. And it was brutally evil.
But now, she wants to have children to body surf.
Mm-hmm.
That is the only reason why she wants to have children.
Yep.
That's horrible. I love it.
It's just so evil. It's like, dear God, fuck if there's only a need for future generations so I can live on and be immortal. Just keep body surfing to the next generation.
Hello, Jaethel. Will you stop it? It's not Jaethel. Get the name right.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. So, um, just it was just a very well written game. Whereas others. So another thing we were talking about was world building. As a kid, I'm some 18 years younger than Jim. I grew up with the Harry Potter books, which
Uh-huh.
were very entertaining, but she was terrible at world building. Absolutely terrible at world building. I swear she literally pulled things out of her ass because it was very bad world building. It was just the contradictions. That's actually something I like the fan fiction authors try to fix. And it wasn't like terrible like Futurama is terrible at world building, but that's a comedy show, so you forgive it. I like that Kingmaker has a bit of world building. I love New Vegas is reading about the history of the followers and about the history of the Enclave and all that. I like people who sit down and think. I mean, I'm pretty
Well,
OCD about stuff like that.
the thing with Kingmaker is the fact it's based off of the Galarian fucking Pathfinder
Yeah,
world, which is
yeah.
very well written. At least it originally was. I don't know about its current incarnation and second if they would decide to water it down because of outrage mobs.
See, I'm kind of OCD about that. Whereas if I, okay,
I
so
mean, that's one thing I like to do with my fantasy world building is I build. First off, I have to say which gods created it, or if gods created it. Then I have to see how they interact in the first generation of deities.
let me give you an example. Let me give you an example. Sorry, that's your thing. In the seventh Harry Potter book, there's a bully turned dark wizard supporter who casts the spell that has never been talked about in any of these 6.9 books. Happens sort of towards the middle of the end of the seventh book. Anyway, cast this spell, which has never been talked about, which has never been mentioned, which has never been foreshadowed, because there's a magical object that needs to be destroyed and they can't figure out how to destroy it. So all of a sudden they cast magical fire that destroys this enemy cast magical fire that just happens to destroy the object that Harry needs destroyed. Keep in mind, like I said, this kid who's like 21 years old, or no, I'm sorry, about 17 years old, can cast the spell, not control it, but cast it. That has not been mentioned through any of the 7 books. If I came up with a spell like that, I would attempt to explain why it hadn't been mentioned in 7 books. Maybe it's forbidden knowledge. Maybe it's so horrible that nobody speaks of it because it's too risky. Maybe it's whatever. But I would
Come
explain
up with some
why.
explanation, yeah.
Whereas she's just like, I never thought he'd use that spell. Well, okay, I never heard of it until now. So it was just very lousy, And of course, that magical thing was destroyed. And hey, look, when we did the voices, which was a joke that Jim made up.
Yeah, because he was. It was just he did something stupid. I was like, I look, the voice is command and I obey.
And then I
It's
started
one of my
thinking
typical
about,
go-to jokes. No, everyone pisses it away because I say it so often.
and I started thinking about, well, Valorous was a good character, but I'm playing him as evil. How did he become evil?
Mm-hmm.
And so or the Vorka read up story. Uh, That
Yeah.
happened because I made a joke when Vorka came back from the dead, because I said that Retta would, Retta, we could have been friends. So I made a joke that I'm real Vorka, you're a false Vorka, and that
Mm-hmm.
became, and I started thinking maybe there's more to that. Maybe she actually believes that she's real Vorka. Keep in mind she's not an alchemist,
Yeah.
but she doesn't care.
She's just a
So
fighter, but she ate Vorka, so now she is Vorka.
yes, and she's insane because she licked her toad like 1,000 times.
Yeah.
I
You
love
only
you were
get
like,
it. You only get the mechanical benefit once, but go ahead. You can still trip. Well, I want a
Well,
trip.
I forgot we had. Honestly forgot we had benefits.
Only the first time because it was the introductory module.
Yeah, I literally forgot we had benefits. I was just doing it to get high,
Yeah.
as you knew I was. So yes, I mean, I'm granted my explanations are insane, but they're not. They at least make sense in a sort of weird way. So I'm certain I'm weird like that. I like world building. I'm not, you know,
And
that's
for
not
those that
all.
don't know about the voices became sexually transmitted religion.
Okay, because the backstory was that he was running away from an arranged marriage to a farmer's daughter. I started thinking about, well, why would he be an arranged marriage? Sure, there's a lot of prosaic explanations, like it was the family's decision, blah, blah, blah. That's boring. No, they slept with each other, and the farmers heard about it, got pissed off, and wanted
And
to
said,
marry.
now you better fucking make it proper, you know.
Yeah,
It's your typical shotgun wedding scenario.
but she had the voices. All whether or not it was known to her is irrelevant.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how he picked it up, and it they came to his head when he was in the dungeon. Take the dragon toy. You want to play with the dragon toy.
Which, you know, in retrospect, that was something that was retconned in because, you know, he initially solved the scenario peacefully by giving the dragon toy to the goblins. Then he's like, I want the goblin toy. So he attacked the goblins to get it back.
You want to play with the toy? Take the toy.
Which was nice because it gave him some good flat-footed bonuses against it. That's just how I DM. They wouldn't have expected it. It's like, yay, we got what we want. These people are cool. Hey, what? You're killing us now? What the fuck?
So that's, like I said, I mean, yeah, okay, yeah, it was retcon, but at least it makes sense in a weird way.
Mm-hmm. Why?
I
He
think,
just started doing all this evil shit. You kill the
yeah,
shopkeeper, his kid,
and a
and some other
witness.
random witness to start looting the store, to steal a magical sword, which you never even used. You used the fucking broadsword, which wasn't magical. But hey, you know, the
No, but
entire
it was
purpose of the robbery is now neglected.
no, but it was big.
Mm-hmm.
It was a big fuck off broad. I think we even called it the fuck off broadsword.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like I said, that's although it sounds insane talking about it.
It is
Jim
insane.
actually Jim actually made a whole thing about the voices and their history. I think I lost that file, unfortunately.
Yeah, I might have it somewhere.
I may have. I don't know. I gotta search through. Anyway, so it is insane, but at the same time, it makes more sense than I never thought he'd use that spell that I never mentioned. I mean, maybe it was mentioned in any in you know when the books weren't being when they skipped forward in time, but just to throw it in the seventh book was kind of shitty.
So how does this play out with talking about Kingmaker?
How did the what play out?
You were talking about world building, and we were talking about Kingmaker and
Oh,
some of these other
I
games.
mean, the world, there are a lot of origin stories and stuff. There are a lot of, it's a much better, I'm more thinking about New Vegas than Kingmaker, to be honest.
Okay.
Because I looked up, Caesar's story and the story of the followers and then the Enclave from all the other, and it was a detailed, it wasn't like a book or anything, but it was a detailed, this is how they got that way sort of thing. This is how Caesar became Caesar. He didn't just wake up one day. I think I'm Caesar from ancient
I
Rome.
think that's a good difference to point out between like 1, 2 New Vegas and 3 and 4, where the world building was just kind of like, really good. You understood where people came up with their ethos for everything whenever you explored, the conversations and the different files and all this stuff. Whereas in 3 and 4, it was just kind of like, yeah, we're this way because, yeah, it was this way. Like, my favorite is the Institute. Now, the Institute makes sense on a big scale thing because if you know a bunch of fucking, Mensa quality science nerds, They don't know how the fuck to do with political power. Even those that are politically motivated don't know what the fuck to do with political power. They just go off on raw tangents, and that's perfect. It seems like this huge mess that's just held together by the idea we're going to do it for science. So the big picture idea truly works, but how it all evolved is kind of like, meh, whatever. That's the kind of effort put into it. It's not clearly stated that this is how it's done, or clearly demonstrated that this is why it's done this way. Because normies that have never sold drugs to men's equality nerds, or been part of those societies, like Mensa, don't understand the mentality that, no, they're not going to be the most brilliant military tacticians because they know science.
Yes. One, I remember the situations more than the characters and jokes about lesbian sex.
Yeah.
Okay, because Tandy, we asked for, and she got all flustered.
So we decimated fucking Shady's hands, but left her as the sole survivor.
Because I thought a lot of the characters were a little bit flat. It was more of a. I thought it was more of a like, okay, let's sort of try this and then we could build on it later type game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was a fun game. I think we knocked it out in one night.
Oh, they made a good game. Okay.
Oh no,
and they had some interesting scenarios. Yeah. A lot of, because the whole thing is like, let's explore the fucking gray morality of a fucking post-apocalyptic world, and the ideas that would be flung about then, and how people would go insane from that. I mean, the Brotherhood's a perfect example of how people would go insane because the end just happened.
Yeah. Oh yeah, totally. But there's a lot of video games that don't seem to write. Like Long Live the Queen, I never really felt close to any of the characters. Like they existed and they did things, but I never felt like if Elodie, whatever how, if she died, it was more just like, oh damn, it was not like oh no, it was more just like, oh, she died, I have to reset. Although I do love, well, we could throw Charlotte to the Kraken. She's your best friend. It's gonna kill her family anyway. Anchorhead's the same. Anchorhead's the same thing. Only it was done deliberately, where the female protagonist doesn't have much of a personality. She's there to try to save the town and her husband, but she doesn't have a name or anything. But that was more done deliberately. But still, there was a homeless guy who was he was an ex-doctor who was basically driven to become an alcoholic because he delivered an eldritch abomination from this baby, and his price for telling the woman about the baby he helped deliver and then later faked his death was, oh yeah, he was beaten to death. And that was actually pretty emotional, like, oh god, no, it was, Jim needs to play that game. It was a very good game. Anchorhead. Whereas in Magical Diary, again, I never really felt very close to the characters.
Yeah, the situations were entertaining, though.
The situations were entertaining, and I liked, I mean, Virginia was, not emotional. But the situations were entertaining, but the characters were just like, meh. There was it was so kind of blah. We had to make stupid fucking
jokes. Lawn gnome.
Evil.
Lawn gnome. The lawn gnome is displeased with this action.
Oh, that was. Okay, for those of you who don't know, one of the characters, Virginia's brother. I made a stupid joke about "Thus saith the lawn gnome," which is just a random thing that I say.
Yeah.
And Jim took that to a whole new level. Another joke I made was he was reading the female teacher's dialogue in like a very strange robot voice, and I said something about the robot's malfunctioning. That again, he took that to its illogical, actually, extreme.
We will do this for evil. Evil.
Oh,
Evil.
we actually played it straight through once, straightforward once, and then we had like a day and a half of playing it weirdly.
Oh, yeah.
But
Where we just started ad-libbing characters to make them more interesting, but the scenario stayed the same.
yes, but like as a Kingmaker, I never thought. I mean, I remember we played Kingmaker for like 10 hours stretches, and then it was like, fuck, I need a break. But
Well, that's one of the downsides of the game. It is a time sink because everything goes so slowly, and sometimes you're just waiting for the. I mean, okay, the transition from Varnhold's lot to the fucking no, not the Varnhold's lot to the one with the barbarians. Okay,
yeah, yeah,
that was good because everything was just like bing bang boom. You just completed this quest. Now you got to rush and decide, which part of this quest to do first and what's going on and all this stuff.
exactly. So what I was saying is, so it was
But
so,
but a lot of it's just like, okay, we got to sit here and wait for the right time of year for the quest to drop.
but
And what I hate, another thing I hate is like there are certain things that like you have people show up in your court, and most of them they do a good job saying, "Hey, there's someone waiting for you in your court," but some of them they don't even list, and like they just sit there for a year until you get to them and realize, "Oh shit, I should have done that," but now I got other things I got to do, else the game will be over.
yeah, but anyway, so I was saying, so we would get off, and I would think about these characters as I was doing other things, reading books or reading random sporkings of horrible books on the internet. If you don't know what a sporking is, you're missing out. It's fun. Um, so anyway, I would think about these characters, and I don't usually. I mean, I could think about situations like when we played three. I would think about some of the situations, but rarely would I think about the characters. Rarely would they became more than just fictional characters. I'm not saying they became real people or whatever, but they became more than fictional characters. They became more than just video game characters. They were. You
Something you
wanted
formed a
them.
parasocial relationship with.
You wanted them to do well.
Mm-hmm.
You actually wanted them to do well,
You
as opposed to
became
just
sympathetic towards the fictional outcomes. It's like, yeah, I'll
as
put in effort.
as opposed to just you know Veronica was eaten for the sake of a stupid joke.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Veronica was eaten because the joke was that the people were after her, so we had to hide her in our friends' stomachs.
Because we were an Intelligence 1 character.
Okay,
And role
I
played it as such.
I liked Veronica. Veronica was cute and perky, but her
Jesus
death
fuck
was
was, a sub-brick misanthrope.
her death was literally a dumb joke. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's a stupid joke. I laughed and I still laugh, but that was her death, and she was one of the characters we liked. Raul, I didn't
Mm-hmm.
want to kill because
Yeah.
fuck. But he had a backstory that was just like that was one of the best backstories in my opinion. But
Boone was,
yeah,
that's, I mean, I played it through and did his whole entire storyline in multiple ways, and, like, it just comes down to the whole entire, I'm still mourning my wife kind of deal.
yeah. But Veronica was one of the characters we liked, and we killed her not because we didn't like her, but for a joke.
Uh-huh.
Cass we killed because well we were evil. We kind of had to. Um, But anyway, I didn't want to kill any of these people for the sake of a joke. I actually wanted these people to do well.
Mm-hmm.
Go go forth and so
The only character in the game that both of us wanted to kill was Tristan because it was constant whining, constant moaning, constant everything. Just so emo.
yeah, he was the bad good, and the voice actor who played him didn't help.
Mm-hmm.
He just sounded like one of those sanctimonious. Ugh.
So, like, after playing through the game, I realized that there was one crucial point where, like, it made more sense to kill him then. So I had to stay Elliot's hand. No, I know we could just leave him to die or do any of these horrible things or even ask him to leave, but let's wait until Varnhold. And then we took him along. And then as a joke, uh, I let him be like one of the ones, because we didn't bother leveling him up at all. And I let him be one of the ones whose name got known for the things that only the person who was named can kill them. One of the soul eaters.
Yeah.
But, it was just funny because I had to sit there through multiple rounds of combat, and we're listening to the thing hurt him as I'm skipping everyone's turn, just trying to get it to kill him, because he was nowhere near strong enough to even do 1 damage to it, even if he did hit.
He had the well, because we didn't level him up.
Mm-hmm.
He had the worst killing line. I mean, even the good characters, consider me provoked, and what are some of the other lines we like? Did you like that? Oh, you didn't?
I always loved it. I'm writing you out of our story.
Because
that's just like some sort of warped mentality. It's like, wait, what? Huh? Could you imagine being on the receiving end of that taunt as someone shooting an arrow in your face? You're writing out what story? What? Huh?
I think it's Valerie. I like her taste my fury, but it's so deadpan.
No, that was Canara.
Yeah, okay.
Valerie was more like, militaristic, the one that said more military style things.
Okay.
Like, fall behind me, form behind me, or
I like taste
forward.
my fury because it was so deadpan.
Mm-hmm.
That was, who was it?
Canara.
Okay. Yeah, I like because it wasn't like it was just taste my fury.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so. I like
Tristan's was more like, Goddess, please show mercy on them, because I won't.
I can see his light. I don't care. Fuck him. So yes, we did that, and that was really annoying. And I wanted to kill.
Camping dialogue, that was fun.
It's yes. The banter was hilarious. Although Jim wouldn't let him sleep until they fucking.
When are we gonna sleep? Not now. We got another 30 hours of marching to do before we get to our destination. Then we'll do something there. Then another 30 hours back. Then, just before we go into our capital, we sleep camping in front of the gates.
That's one thing I think they could work on. That's one thing I think they should have worked on, was bigger penalties for not sleeping. Like,
I think you've said best, where like your companions would literally start turning against you a bit. Leaving friendly fire more of an option if like you were firing into melee.
If you keep me up when I'm trying to sleep, Jim, you'll see what happens, and it's not friendly. I will murder you.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I've said. I mean, I'm not saying an outright revolt, but like, goddamn, you won't even let me sleep. Fuck you.
I mean, the numerical penalties are good, but that's something he doesn't see.
Yeah, I don't see. So, because I'm blind. Your life ends now.
I mean, I thought it was hilarious the way you said it, but you're so focused on the story, you're not playing some of the same mechanics I am, because, plus I cheated like hell for your playthrough.
I'm not interested in game mechanics. I'm interested in the story. I mean, because I don't actually hit the buttons and play the game like that. Hit
the buttons, now they want to hear engine rev or explosions.
No,
but like whenever we're playing a role-playing game or something, you get into the dialogue and sounds because you're blind.
But I wasn't really into video games until recently. I was always into stories. I've always wanted to know, what happened.
Some of them had a better. You'd be bored to tears going through me playing Final Fantasy. It would just be better for me to read or whatever some of the better titles to you, without actually playing it.
I've seen some of the Final Fantasy stuff. It looks interesting.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where I would have to sit there and read the story to you without actually playing it, because you would be bored to tears, because I'm doing things which are fun for me in the game, which is, coming up with solid tactics and all this stuff. Whereas, all that would be like something you wouldn't care about.
Now, okay. If I could see and was playing the game,
Yeah, you'd
that
probably.
would be fun.
Yeah.
That actually does sound like a fun thing to do. But he's playing the game. I'm here on the other end, on it.
It would take
So
him a lot longer to do some of this shit, because he'd have to figure out where things are, and it would be and especially with like the click and go thing, it
oh
would be
yeah,
a pain. He'd have to be able to memorize patterns of button sequences and
I just
locations
want
of
to make it
things.
clear. I just want to make it clear that it's not that I don't really have an interest in things like that. It's just that if you're watching it, eh,
Yeah, and that's pretty much what you're gonna have to do, because it would take you forever to learn these things. It would take you probably a year to figure your way out a fully mapped out
exactly.
Final Fantasy magic
It,
spell menu.
so I'm more into the story concept. What happens next is like my most asked question. Well, and my favorite answer is, make it up. Sweet. I as a kid I always used to make up stories in my head and things like that. So I love the story aspect. The game mechanics, again, I'm not actually, we call it blind kid plays, but Jim plays. I'm the brain. So that's the reason I'm not so into game mechanics. It has nothing to do with the fact that I have no interest. It's that blindy's blind. Um, so I'm more interested in the story and the dialogue, and that's why I get really wrapped. Like that's why sometimes I'll say things like, "Wow, that's really good voice acting," whereas maybe Jim isn't paying as much attention as I am to that. I mean, um, Vorticai sounds like he's about to kill you
Uh
every
huh.
time he talks.
And,
So,
and that's just so over the top. It's awesome.
oh, it is great. It reminded me a little bit of of you actually, Biker Jim.
Oh yeah.
Biker Jim. That's good shit. So there's a lot of so like I said, I'm more interested in not just the sounds and the acting, but a story. I love stories. And a good story in a game is always something I look forward to. Whereas game mechanics is, again, I can't see what's going on and things like that. I understand that perhaps the penalties are good if you're into game mechanics, but I think a story thing would be, fuck you, we can't sleep. I'm fucking sick of this. Especially with Reg. I mean, come on.
Oh yeah. He'd gut you.
Oh
I
my,
want to. After that march, I want to actually stay up an extra hour just to gut you.
yes. Yes. Just, oh my god. Um so there's a lot. So why I felt like I needed to explain it, just because I think some people might think that I have no interest in game mechanics or whatever. It's just a different, a different thing. I'm watching
I
people
mean,
play.
he played this one racing handheld like tiger thing.
Mm,
He
several
he told
racing.
me the story, but he was able to actually win races because he memorized when to turn on tracks.
Okay, well
And how
that
long did it take you to learn how when the turns were and how to turn on them?
uh very long, about a year.
There you go. That's just for a game where accelerate, decelerate, turn left, turn right. Then memorizing one track.
You had, and there was another game called Pro Drag Racing, which was a handheld game, and there's four classes: Top Fuel, Funny Car, Pro Stock, and Stock. And Top Fuel and Funny Car three, basically it was a drag racing game. So you hit a button and the Christmas tree happens. Three, two. Well, and this was back when they were going .40 lights. So after the Christmas tree, now it's a zero light. As soon as the Christmas tree goes green, you go green. But back then it was .40, so it was .4 of a second after the Christmas tree goes green. That's when you go green, okay? You have to know how long that is, or you red light. And if you red light, that means you left too early and you have to start again. But anyway, the trick to getting a faster time is knowing where your shift points are. If you shift too early, then you might blow your engine. If you shift too late, then you might blow your engine. And stock was on a different tree where it was point 0.5 a sec, point 0.5 sec, 500ths of a second. Fuck, 500 light. So you had to remember, if it's stock, then you have to remember there was a different Christmas tree, and you had to. But I would race against my dad, and basically, so if you broke a record, there'd be like a little crowd cheering thing. So he would hand the game back and forth, and we would try to beat each other's records. And it took me. He set a time of a 3.9 seconds, a 390, which is insane. Now with a shorter thing, they're going 370. But back a 390 was insane. I could not get 390. It took me a year and a half to figure out my shift points to get a 389. That's a year and a half to figure out, because this is top fuel, which is the fastest class, and there's only 3 gears, so it's like that. But you have to figure out where the shift points are, and that was hard work.
A year and a half.
Yes.
After figuring out the game, which took you a year.
Well, no, Pro Drag Racing didn't take me any time at all because it was just a straight line. But to figure out how to beat a good record took me a while, because again, you had to figure out where the shift points were. Because if you're not blind, then you can see the light that goes green. I had to time it.
This thing had a clutch on it?
No. But
so you just press the fucking gear shift button, let go of the gas and hit the gear shift button, then hit the gas again.
Hang on, I'm trying to visualize it. Okay, so what you did was you hit the left button was for the Christmas tree, which is, and there was a timer that went 3, dude, but then you had to let go, you had to know, because you couldn't go right away because we have red light. You had to wait that 0.4 of a second, and of course, if you can see when it goes green, and you can wait that 0.4 of a second. Well, I had to time it, and then you would go off the gas, shift on the gas, and do really fast. And I think there were some shift point, lights or whatever that showed you when it was time. But basically, I had to do it all by ear. So it was challenging, and there were mechanics. I mean, because real top fuel dragsters don't have shift, transmission. You just on the gas. And so there's the game I was telling you about was a NASCAR game where you had to basically time 5, 6, 7. Okay, off the gas, turn 1, 2, 3, on the gas, 1, 2, 3, 4, off the gas, so that was hard work.
Mm-hmm.
And it took me a year to figure out where to turn without crashing. I don't know if I was very fast, but I did it. So I could do stuff like that, but it takes me so...
It takes a long time, I'm certain... Well, this game you wouldn't be able to. There's no hope. Because it's all point-click mouse. Or, if you have a joystick, it would be a lot more clunky. You might be able to figure that out, but it's doubtful because you wouldn't be able to see where the enemies are placed so you could actually click on the damn enemies.
There was another game called NHRA Drag Racing 2, which did not have a transmission. But it did not have an audible timer, 3, 2, 1. So I had to have my dad do timing for me.
Uh-huh.
As soon as he says yellow, you hit that button. I don't care if, you're supposed to hit out the green, but as soon as he said yellow, you hit that button and see what happens.
Uh-huh. I mean...
Sorry, just getting some drink.
That's okay. But the whole thing here is, that's why, the game mechanics are, like, And it wouldn't be totally alien to him to keep track of if I kept telling him, like, what every option was on the fucking alignment scale. But I usually kept that from him so that he'd make whatever choice he wanted. Then I just keep him chaotic evil, so that way
The only
that was
time
fun.
he would tell me is when I made a choice and you're like, oh yeah, that's the chaotic evil choice. I was like, well, so, but anyway, so I try to do but at the same time, I the difference between video games and say RPGs. In RPG, you can have a big picture that's chaotic evil, but you can do good things in that chaotic evil picture if it serves your purpose, whatever your purpose is. Whereas this game is more video gamey,
Yeah. Like I said, there were certain options, and, usually alignment deals more with your actions than what you say. And this was entirely, alignment based off what you say. Well, this is a conversation.
But
if I decide
again,
to heal you without, gain, then yeah, that's an obvious good option. If I decide to heal you but you pay me for it, then, that's more neutral. At least.
but then again, these are small complaints. I mean, if we were making a video exclusively about Fallout 4, all I do is bitch.
Yeah.
One thing...
I mean, another thing is, if you play that game, never fucking pick a paladin. Unless you want to be totally railroaded in making either purely lawful, purely good, or as often as you can, lawful good. Or sitting there trying to seed through everything to see if there is a non-aligned option so you don't shift. Because clerics are forced to be like within one step of their deity. Druids are forced to be one step within true neutral. And of course, paladins are always lawful good. So you kind of railroad yourself that way with your dialogue choices and options.
I have a deep hatred for paladins.
Oh, yeah.
Jim, I mean, I've played with... Because I do some, like, email stuff whenever the Jim's busy with, whatever horrible things he does. So I've played the good character. I go more towards, like, neutral good or chaotic good. I don't think I've ever successfully done lawful good, because I just get so bored. I've done chaotic good. I can do chaotic good, but I've never done paladin, and I will never do paladin. I'm sorry, I can't. It's nothing about being good, because if you want me to be a good character, I can try to be a good character. But having to be lawful good all the time just drive a spike through my face.
Lawful good's fun to play every now and then. And it's
if you
want to get in a deeply introspective mode, being a paladin's good.
Okay.
But, I want to kick back, relax, and have some fun these days.
If the situation is right, then yes, being lawful good can be fun, but the situations are so rarely that kind of right. At least for me. So, I get it, but I don't know. I personally don't like it.
Well, at any rate, it's all different types of fun for different people.
I mean, I don't have to be evil. We've always done evil with playing RPG because it's kind of, everything I can't do in real life. But I can be good if I really want to. I can play a good character. But whatever.
Yes, baby eating contests are more his thing, because, let's just do all this insane shit, and if my character dies, it's a piece of paper.
I got bored and the DM pissed me off, so I was like, fine, I'm going to eat this baby. And then the DM pissed me off further by, rather than having, the people act horrified and try to kill me, he literally kicked me the hell out.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
It was like, no, you're out.
If you're playing with a heroic party and someone decides to eat a baby, yeah, you should be permitted to do PvP then. Or at least, start sending the guards after him and your party sells them out.
And people in the party were saying the same thing, and he's like, no, he literally said, what I say goes. I was like, and I am delighted to hear that basically all of his players quit the next day and he had to give up the game.
Yeah,
Because who wants to play with that guy?
yeah. The whole thing with pen and paper is you're supposed to. The default option is you can certainly try.
Yeah.
And there's always a consequence for your actions. Maybe something good, maybe something bad, maybe it's just something, in between that's just stupid or interesting. But there's always a consequence for your actions.
Maybe the
You
consequence is
saved the
just
city from the vile necromancer. Well, other necromancers that are vile are going to start wanting to hunt you down. Or maybe, his student's going to grow up and swear of blood oath vengeance against you. You sit there going to town and eat a baby while the entire city's going to turn against you, and you're going to fucking be the most vile, hated.
well,
Then they're
okay,
going to
okay.
start publishing your fucking wanted poster everywhere.
There could be consequences for the action, and as you said, either good or bad. I mean, look at Octavia. She's good, and the consequence would be she would call you an asshole.
Yeah, and in real life,
Okay,
she'd probably leave you after you said, "Oh yeah, go ahead and slave your daughter."
or at least not talk to you for a few years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, she as forgiving as she is, I could see her. Maybe not. I mean, if she didn't leave, at least saying I can't talk to you for a while. Just no. Or I could see leaving as well. So, but that's so the consequences don't have to be major. Like I said, they could be I'm not going to talk to you right now. I need this to cool down, or it could be I'm leaving you.
Mm-hmm.
But either way, do something. Like I said, I mean, okay, I played with
Give the
one.
player the ability to do whatever the fuck they want.
I
I mean,
played with one. Oh wait. I played with one DM in an email campaign, and I did something. It wasn't as bad as eating. I think I robbed a store, and the person I was traveling with literally just refused to talk to me for a couple hours because he was so pissed off that I robbed the store, which was a consequence. It was a small consequence, but at the same time, it was like, okay, I could see that.
yeah.
I could see I didn't get kicked out. I didn't, but it was like, I am so pissed off at you right now. Just go do something else. And eventually he was like, don't do that again. You know.
Well, good
So
thing you
I
didn't
can.
know in the other campaign I killed the entire family and then No, I'm just reminded. Oh God, because
That was the one time where it was sort of a suspension of disbelief was the enslaving your daughter, and all Octavia said was, "I can't. I hope you know what you're doing, but I can't watch." Then again, how forgiving she is, I can kind of see that, but it was still like, wow, if I were her, I would have. I don't know. I think I would have beaten myself up.
yeah.
But then again, she is extremely forgiving. Anyway, what were you saying?
Oh, I forget now.
The one time you killed your own family.
Oh, what? This was another campaign I was running because I was trying to see what kind of campaign people wanted, and the the one dude broke into the sheriff's home to rob it, and then he killed them. And there was a noise that got out, and he got outside. And since I play with critical failure and critical success for skill checks, you know my I know that's not canon. Fuck you, rules lawyers. That's something I put at my table, and everyone knows it going in. The
Yes.
best possible result was that he rolled a natural 20, telling him I'm the sheriff, and the best possible result is they believe him
Yeah.
because I didn't define the town yet. It was just something I pulled out of my ass to test people to see what kind of campaign they wanted. So I just let it slide, saying that this is a rough and tumble area because
Yes.
I didn't have a canon worked up for it, and now there's a definite canon to the town of Hellhole because of this. That they lose sheriffs all the time, except for the one sheriff who became a god.
Okay, I have emailed Josie asking for details because I've done a lot of these, so details of the robbed store. She said, "Yes, you robbed the store and you had to kill 3 guards. and he was miffed at you. He wasn't, you know, sorry. She said basically he wasn't, I'm going to kill you, but he was like, you just made me kill 3 guards and possibly give myself away. Don't talk to me right now
Mm-hmm.
because I might kill you. But at the same time, he didn't, I'm kicking you out or
And this is, role play, done
yes,
well. Because it's like, yeah, okay, and I'm still going to react to this and blah, blah, blah. I'm still a player at the table. My character would not agree with this. Or my character is pissed off because you're almost sold him out. You made him take risks he didn't want to at that point.
Oh, here's a P.S. I I heard the DM laugh so hard at your antics he spat coffee all over himself. You're gonna rob a store for no reason, and oh, really? What an idiot!
Yeah,
And
yeah,
he just let it happen.
yeah. Well, that's one thing about murder hobos in campaigns. You know, this is like the campaigns just rate themselves because now you got consequences. If I want you to go on the heroic campaign, the fucking chief city administrator pisses in your face screaming, I own you now because you fucked up so bad. I had to bribe people, not just to keep people from persecuting my guy, but from also divulging your name as well. Which can be done on an instant's notice, and you would suffer greatly if I just mentioned that you did this.
But at the same time, the one time where I played an email campaign where I did romance a good character. I'm not saying I like toned down the character or whatever, but let's just say I didn't, eat babies in front of her.
Yeah.
It was more just like, she understood that I was probably going to conquer everything, but she was like, just let him, do his thing and I'll do mine and hope that our paths don't cross in that regard. But so you start to think, okay, you're with a good person, so maybe there's a few things you can't do, so
Yeah.
you sort of
Or,
self-policing in a way.
you go, I mean, the favorite thing to do in old school camp, ever since the old school days, was like, okay, we need someone to go out and buy provisions. Paladin, why don't you go out and buy the provisions? All right, this is what we're going to do. We're going to go over here, kill those fucking guards so that we can get their damn uniforms so we could sneak into that area and then do the thing we need to do for the holy quest while the Paladin's looking the other way.
Oh yeah,
And then
but
they
I'm just
come
saying,
back and, like, they got the things that they needed to from that part of the quest, and the Paladin's back, okay, I got the provisions.
but I'm just
And
saying,
it was just sort of that one thing because, yeah, everyone's at the table, everyone knows what's going on, but, in character, the Paladin was absent at the time. And he
yes,
doesn't know how this happened, and their bullshit reason came off as, okay, I'll buy that for now.
but I'm just saying, if you're a good person and you have a good character that you want, either friend or romance or just someone you don't want to get rid of, you could do that. But it's also sort of self-policing in a way.
Mm-hmm.
You know that that's going to piss them off, so maybe, well, if you're going to do it, at least do it behind their backs.
Yeah, and,
So
you can always think about doing it without actually doing it.
I do it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I just thinking about killing Jim.
Yep, that's the way life works, isn't it?
So there's this whole, and of course, talk about how I've evolved as a person and a player. I was telling you, I think I said it on microphone that I probably wouldn't have liked Lindsay 5, 6 years ago, and I would have played this game totally differently because, what's his Heron? Oh, he's all religious and they're all religious and fuck religion. Now I'm gonna profess my atheism and tell everyone how much atheism rocks because I
Mm-hmm.
have to be sanctimonious about it.
See, I'd
I mean,
started a couple other playthroughs just to see how the politics angle of it runs out. That's one thing I love about building the cities is, the whole entire kingdom management thing is whenever you actually do the rank ups for the things you do.
Yes.
and just seeing the outcomes and like what laws you pass. And I'm trying out the different advisors just to see, what they are. I'm even like not filling positions until I unlock the advisor I want for it, just so
Hell,
I can see them from rank 1 the whole way up.
I wish they went further with that. There are a couple things I actually wanted to follow through on, but they never followed up on. I want to know if that spy went insane or not. The spy
Oh
that we
god, that'd have been
brainwashed.
fucking hilarious to see that. Did the did
It's
the fucking mind control take root, and did they do what we say, or did they go fucking insane because we kept fucking mind controlling them every moment and just making them go against everything that they ever wore?
I told Josie about that. Of course, he went with the mind control option.
Yeah.
Fuck you. And now you have to guess who I'm saying fuck you to, Jim or Josie. Anyway, no, but of course, that's my thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's just one of his sick
But
perversions.
yes, yeah. Welcome to my life. So that's again, that's something that the like I said, I can't watch some of the old Fallout videos because I was a complete chode back then.
Yeah.
I don't know how you put up with me.
I do, because I saw, like, you acted a lot like I did when I was a kid. Yeah, you were more atheist, and I went, like, fucking pure, let's be Wiccan and shit when I was younger, but, it was a phase I grew out of. And, that's what happens when you grow up and change. There's different phases you grow out of, and there's certain things you keep, certain things you dismiss.
Once you start talking to people, and once I got out of the anti-theist crowd, it was like, these people are scum.
Yeah, look at them. It's pretty. Anti-theism is pretty much turning atheism into a religion.
Yeah, and I owe some people some big apologies. And
I mean, there's atheists, then there's the religious atheists, the anti-theists.
I have nothing against atheists. I have nothing against Christians. I have nothing against anyone who has a belief, if or non-belief or whatever. What I don't like is the militant thing. So yes, anti-theist, and I wanted to be Mr. Super cool. Please accept me, anti-theist type. So
Yeah, when you're younger, you always want to try to belong. And one thing I learned over the years is like, yeah, you just got to carve out your own place to belong.
So I behaved in such a way that, like I said, I owe a lot of people a lot of apologies, and I've been trying to sort of make it better because I said some pretty horrible things. And but also in Fallout, when we started playing Fallout, some of my jokes were like blatantly offensive for no other reason than to be offensive. And I listened to them, I'm like, oh my god, shut up. Really? Did you really just make that joke? Ugh, fuck.
Now it's more like, okay, let's play off what's the fuck's happening.
Yeah, that's more me.
Let's play off what's the fuck's happening, and if it happens to be offensive, oh well. If it's not, oh well.
Yeah, but I made like a Mexican joke for no other reason than just to be offensive. Which was like, I don't know, it just seems kind of cringe these days.
It all depends upon, the context of it.
Oh god, well yeah, it was.
I mean, it's like whenever we were playing it, and I was trying to describe what Honest Hearts was like to him, and it's like he's dressed like an engine.
Yeah, but that
was contextually correct because it's like this is the bastardized form of like, what your typical fucking
that's
spaghetti
fine,
western native.
But like I say, in the very first video, I made a dumb Mexican joke. There was no point to it. I just thought of it and said it, and I listen to it nowadays. It's like that was literally just trying to be 4chan. That was so cringeworthy. Whereas if something's offensive,
you'd probably, if it was in a different context and a different setup, you'd probably make the same joke today and laugh at it if it was fitting of the context. But because you tried to just be funny, instead of letting the humor flow,
it was just for shock value.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no point to it. If there was a point to it, then yeah, I would laugh. So yeah, looking at, like I said, some of the just I can't, and I'm surprised you didn't quit more. Like I know you rage quit the one episode.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't rage quit more often because I have no patience for my old self, which is never a good sign.
And that's
I
a
don't.
good sign, actually. That means you grew.
Well, yeah, but the
Now,
fact that
whether you grew
yeah,
for better or worse, that's a different story.
probably worse. I hate me. Yeah, probably worse. Or actually, I'm kidding. Definitely better. But yeah. So I'm just thinking about Kingmaker. Oh, I would have hated all the good characters because they were good and I'm evil and blah 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 blah.
I mean, I especially love the fact that they tried pointing out the complex relationship between Ragongar and Octavia. You know, how they're like, opposite ends, chaotic good, chaotic evil. So you saw where they agreed on the free floating stuff, but like you also saw like where she would bitch at him for his savagery,
Oh
or
yeah, no,
he'd sit there and
she
make,
would not.
or he'd like poke fun at her because Miss Goody Two Shoes, but at the same time, they still got along.
That reminds me of me and the Josephine from like 2018. She would make fun of my offensiveness, and I'd make fun of her. I'm a good Christian, but it was never like we never took it personally. It was
Mm-hmm.
all it was we laugh about it. No, that's I mean I'll admit I saw a little bit of me and a couple other relationships in their thing. I'm not saying we were ever slay. I'm talking about the dynamic wise.
Yeah.
I definitely saw me and a couple other I was like, oh yeah, that's so yeah. No, I mean she'd give him shit, and I like to think she's giving Sarah Scumfuck shit. Whatever. Did you really have to you know
Mm-hmm.
put an undead lich on our fucking advisory board?
She wasn't present when that decision was made.
Yes, but she's found out.
She would have found out at the end. Wait a minute, is that Forticai? I thought we. Oh God, no.
Did you really do that? Yes, you idiot. So yeah, no, she's fuck, and that's the thing I like about the chaotic good is that, like I said, it's not.
Well, it's not just chaotic good; it's any form of good. If it's done well, they get along with others, depending upon what qualities they share and what qualities they don't share. And as long as you don't sit there and focus so purely, I am evil, I am good, I am lawful, I am chaotic, and try to railroad it in those directions, use it more as a general stand
Yeah,
piece, you could
yeah,
sit there and have a huge discussion about personal honor and a chaotic person saying how honorable they are. But, the way that their honor system's rigged, it is more of a loose set of, generalized bullshit. Whereas, the lawful character will have something a lot more stringent and bound to them.
and
But they could
Ragna's
have the same moral, the same ethics. It's just, one follows it as much as they can to the letter, and the other one sort of tries occasionally.
and
The chaotic one just sort of
and
tries occasionally, but, if
yeah,
necessary, it
yeah,
can be broken.
and Reg was friendly with. I mean, yeah, he'd like playfully insult them, but
I mean, and that's one of the things whenever you actually get into the more introspective side of role play, which is, you know, a lawful person would break their code sparingly. You know, they try to conform to it, but it would have to be a dire circumstance to say, okay, I'm going to break this because there's no other option to, perform X, Y, Z.
yeah,
You have to
that
be shoehorned in where that's your only option. You either die or break the rule.
I do like the idea of a sort of conscience character in the group, someone who will call us out on a bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, I like that in real life. I like people who keep me honest. I don't. There, there's nothing more boring to me than a bunch of yes men.
I mean, I seldom point out things in you, but. That's because I
What?
already did most of my bitching, and then you stopped doing the things I bitched about mostly.
Well, I mean, well, yeah, but that's not what I mean. Just yeah, that's a great idea. That someone's got to say no. That's fucking stupid.
Well, I call you stupid all the time.
Yeah, but
I
that's
make
different.
certain you know that, even though you hear me a lot of time going, half the time the is because I don't care. The other time it's like, yeah, you're an idiot, but I'm not going to sit here and go through the 16-page long article on why you're an idiot.
Yes, and I'd say the exact same thing to you.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm saying someone's sane. That's I mean, so I mean, even in real life, I've never liked a whole group of yes men. You know, I like people
Yeah, I
who
hate ass kissers. God.
I like people. You know, if you think I'm doing something stupid, let me know. If you think that I'm doing something suicidally insane, tell me. If you think that I'm doing something reprehensible, so that's what I liked about Octavia was she was the voice. I mean, I mean, Jubilos did it, but she was, you know, yeah, this is
You see, that's
stupid.
another
Or
thing I kind of liked about Cass, even though she wasn't one of my favorites. You know, it was an enjoyable character for me, but at the same time, annoying. But,
okay,
you know, the one thing I did like was the fact that if you were evil aligned, she would fucking get up in your face, call you an asshole, and either leave or shoot at you.
I didn't mind Cass. I mean, we killed Cass because we had to, just for the sake of a game's joke. But
Yeah,
I
because,
didn't.
you know, everything we did had been so reprehensible at that point.
Yes, but I didn't mind Cass. I mean, I really didn't. She was a, you know, she was trying to do the right thing. She was a drunken mess, and the player and her would bicker like an old married couple.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I call it the Oftenson character. If you ever watch Metalocalypse, that sort of no autoerotic asphyxiation is a very stupid idea, Murderface.
Yeah.
You know, because I will have in real life and in fiction some very bad and very stupid ideas. And I
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you need people to tell you that it's a very bad and very stupid idea.
Yes.
So that's I don't know. That's why I liked. So, but I also like Regs. You know, yeah, he would playfully insult the other characters, but they, you know, hey Pipsqueak, how you doing?
Uh-huh.
Ah, poor Lindsay. Oh well, at least she got to be a book, and apparently books can read other books.
Yes.
Don't ask me how.
I don't know how.
So
Magic.
the little the little can that we put it is that Fidget sent Miss Scumfuck to claim all these lands for
Ash
Ash
Point.
Point, and we started out going, you know, Fidget's so busy with black metal, she's probably thinking maybe I sent the wrong person. Now she's thinking, oh, you know, after reading Lindsay's
No,
book,
no, no.
which
She was
is
so. The whole thing was, dear God, I wish you were more like fucking Sarah Scumfuck. Black Metal, I wish you were
yeah.
more like Sarah Scumfuck, because she's getting things done. She's able to get things organized, complete tasks, and all this shit. You're just going around, get the fuck out of my sight. Do what I need you to. And
Then
then, like, after the Vorticai incident, it was like, I am so glad I have Black Metal. At least he didn't sell out the entire world just to have an advisor.
and we were talking about this earlier, and then um, Sarah Scumfuck sends Fidget the Lindsay book.
Uh huh.
This book contains all of my exploits. She's, I mean, it's a very dear friend of
I
mine.
mean, valued possession, please return.
Yeah. What do you mean valuable? But it's just a book. Wait a minute. Did those words just change?
Oh, fuck. I better return the book.
Why does it say please return me? But yeah, she's now she reads. Oh my God, she did that, and then befriended. Whew, black metal. You're not as bad as I thought.
Mm-hmm.
because there's so much. I mean,
She
you
pretty
remember,
much created a state of eternal war on all sides.
and she's immortal
Yeah, being immortal now.
with eternal youth.
And a dragon.
With oh, that was one of the cool things that I wish we got a picture of. Was we we turned Reg and Octavia into dragons, and we marched in to Nyris's thing, 3 dragons.
That's
I
what
still
when
like
you learn. Those two had to learn the spell. She just did it naturally.
I, I like Octavia's. What's the holdup? Turn into a dragon. Oh, all right. Okay, I've sort of made the last part up, but it's because her reaction was, "What's the holdup?" So turn into a dragon before you go in, if you insist.
Hi, we're dragons. We're gonna face off against you now. It's not gonna be pretty. You will
No.
be in pain, and then die.
3 dragons. So, just fun stuff. I mean, it was just such a well done story. Yeah, okay, I could dissect it and find little things that I could complain about, but like I said, I mean, it actually made me feel things for the characters. How many other games have you played that I've actually said that? I mean, even New Vegas, it was like, Earl's cool, like, House is all right, but we killed him, and I didn't really feel anything when we killed him, other than like, we got Ulysses to shut up about House. I mean, Caesar was cool, but I didn't.
I only killed him because it was part of the perk to consume him.
Caesar salad. So I didn't really feel anything.
And I wouldn't have sided Legion anyway, but at the same time, he was so cool.
Yeah, but I didn't feel anything. I still think the Legion was sanctimonious. You're the wrong type of evil. Although maybe I would have. I don't know.
I mean, Caesar himself was the right kind of evil.
No, he was cool, and I get why he did what he did. But anyway, but my point is that I even then I didn't feel any emotions when I killed them, other than just I killed them. But with Pathfinder, it was like,
I mean, Lindsay being turned into a book, it's like, oh fuck no, and you even knew it was coming. I didn't the first time I did. I was like, no, and the first thing I did was Alt Tab out. Look online. Is there a way to avoid this fate I missed? I will play back. No, it's fucking storyline death. God damn it.
I knew she died, but I didn't know where she died. I thought it was the end, but maybe it was like the middle. So I was like, "Is this where she?" No. And then as soon as she was talking to the, I was talking to Nyris. I was like, "Oh God, here we go. This is it." And I knew she was dying, and even then I was heartbroken. I don't care if she's a book. That was. I didn't like that.
I mean, hell, I even made a joke about saying, no, my sweet propagandist, but it still hit me, and that's like the 5th time I've seen it.
I know. I mean, but at least she gets to be a book. But it felt weird without her. I don't know. It felt... But what really hit me was Octavia's tribute to Lindsay. That was like, whoa.
Yeah, that's something I would feel too. It's like, yeah, I miss her. But hey, you want to read her?
What do you mean, meet her? Hi, Octavia. Oh, shit, the book's writing to me. Too bad Amiri can't read.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite.
Oh, a second, Lindsay wants to say hi.
That was one of my favorite, like when we were talking to Bartholomew, and he was talking about a sign and Amiri. What if you can't read?
It's like, thank you for telling us this.
Oh, fuck. Okay. The deaths at Nyris's hand of like Jubilus or whatever, they didn't really, because I knew they weren't really going to die.
Yeah, you could tell that right from the get-go.
Yeah. So
I mean, if we didn't complete things, they probably would have.
Yeah. But it was just
like we completed all the quests, so like, they'd reward you for that.
Yeah.
That's metagame thinking, though.
I still say Octavia and Reg's fate, if you don't complete one of their quests, would be heartbreaking.
Yeah.
If you don't know what I'm talking about, just look it up. I found it last night. It was like, that was Oh my God, no. So that was so yeah, but I mean, it wasn't overly dramatic, but it was just the right amount of emotion where you actually felt it in your part where you have emotions, whatever those are.
Yeah.
And I never like I never even in the Fallout series when I knew we were being super evil, I never felt like wow. I mean, yeah, okay, I've said that's horrible or whatever, but I've never like
Oh god, our fucking kingdom management options. That was hilarity and like, dear God, what have we done?
I mean, nuking the NCR and the Legion is horrible, but I mostly laughed.
Yeah.
Cause
Here
I was
we here like we got Lander as our advisor, and like the first thing is like bandits are just adventurous tax collectors, and like
no.
yeah, and both of us laughed like no, 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 but we're doing it, but no.
This is horrible.
Yes.
This is the worst job. This is no. Whereas mostly in Fallout, I was just laughing. I mean, yeah, sometimes I think that's horrible, but it was well, I didn't feel it. I guess you'd say.
Yeah, because well,
I
we understand that politics affect everyday lives if you drive down too hard or something.
I felt it in this game. So this
I
game
mean,
was
the more totalitarian and cutthroat you are, the more people feel it.
yes. So I felt it in this game. I mean, I felt like I said, it wasn't overly dramatic. Tristan was, but whatever. Fuck him. But it wasn't overly dramatic, but it was the right, just the right amount of emotion that actually made you feel something.
I mean, even though like your citizens are unnamed NPCs for the most part. I mean, hell, the side quest to get our fucking what's it called? Our artisans up and running. Those let us into their personalities and stuff, and I like the way that was done. I mean, these are just simple throwaway characters that are just, item dispensers. But
The one thing that I wish was a little bit more developed was the twins. I know they're DLC content. I know that, but I like them. But they weren't the most developed people in the world.
yeah,
I mean, I like them, but it was like cool.
yeah, they were more cool than, just, oh wow, I'm into this character.
Yeah,
And a
but
lot of what made the characters more memorable is the banter you have whenever you set up camp. I mean,
but
that alone, just the way that they play back and forth, and this is the
yes.
motley crew of adventurers going off.
Oh, I love the banter because you sort of got to know them a little bit more.
Uh-huh. And it just left so much more personality there. That was
Yeah,
really good.
yeah. You got to hear their reactions and their little arguments, and you know. So you like you. I mean, yeah. I mean, it was very well done. Of course, I didn't hear all of them, but I've heard enough that I could understand.
I
Um,
will say this, though. Anyone
uh,
that wants to make a fun joke that actually gives you a little bit of benefit for it, play a chaotic good character, and when you start your kingdom building, you'll be able to build a brothel right beside the orphanage and a hospital right next to both of those. So, you got the brothel's needs taken care of. And then you can even put
yes,
the dance hall right in that little alcove right there, a little four square, just being that alignment. So that way you have the dance hall for people that don't want to go out and fuck or
well,
find someone to fuck without
we're also
needing to
talking
pay a
about
hooker. And if you lose out there, you go to the brothel. And if you
yes,
catch something, there's a hospital. And if you knock up the hooker, well, there's the orphanage.
yes.
Occupational
So
hazard taken care of.
yes, we were also talking about well, speaking of that's the one thing. That's another thing of the whole suspension of disbelief. Octavia basically hugging her mother and asking her to move to Vagina Island, which is the name of our thing.
Our kingdom is named Vagina Island. Elliot named it. And I was like, fine, you're going to name that, and then I'm going to name the capital as Junkie Insemination Den.
Okay.
Because I know the way he RPs. It's
There's a
always your
story.
fucking drug-addled lunatic.
There's a story to this. A few years ago, Andrew Bishop, the Bishman, played a children's game called Storyland 2 on his Twitch stream thingy. This is before I knew the gym existed. Such great days. Anyway, Storyland 2 was a very weird children's game in which you had to kill a witch who invaded a stuffed animal kingdom in order to learn about how animals are being exploited. I shit you not. Anyway, so we were naming characters, and the name was Jesus Fuck, which was already used as a Skyrim character, which of course then became the Legend of Jesus Fuck. And they were asked, where did he live? And the address was 666 Cockshot Lane, Hot Sauce Land, Vagina Island. And when he asked what to name the first thing that came to mind is Vagina Island. Okay, anyway.
And then my girlfriend fed me a shit ton of jokes, to name our cities. We renamed Patax Clitoris Castle. We have Penile Drip as the one place above it. And then, let's see, we had Pussy Palisades. That was one of yours. That's what we named Farnhold.
It was not mine.
Mm-hmm.
It was not mine. It was Josie's.
Okay, whatever.
Hey, I have to give credit or she'll kill me.
We had Labia Laboratory, which we built right in the Tours of Levine, which is right by Vorticai's tomb. Labia Laboratory. That just seemed like the place where I wanted to put a shit ton of arcane things. Because, this is where Vorticai was. And, that would make a great place building on top of the Lich's tomb. And Arcane Knowledge College.
What was my point?
I don't know what your point was. It was hilarious, though. We came up with my girlfriend came up with that, and I had Lactation Lane, Vulva Volcano, Hyman Heights, and Snatch Sanctuary.
Yeah.
Those were the things my girlfriend came up with.
Whatever my point was, that was the point that I was trying to make. So, yes.
I came up with Penile Drip and Junkie Insemination Den.
Yeah, Trail Mix was the other one that was completely random.
Oh, yeah. That was the one we put right at the border, right by
Oleg's. He asked what your name. I was like really tired. I was like, because she says Trail Me, which Jim kept saying Trail Mix. So I was like, fuck it, Trail Mix.
Trail Mix. Hi, welcome to Trail Mix, right here on the border here.
Yes.
We're very good at naming things, aren't we? Not really. This is why we're resorting to fucking Beavis and Butthead humor.
Yes. Hey, and Josie Pussy Palisades, which I thought was... Yes, and we laughed like Beavis and Butthead during the whole thing. Snatch Sanctuary.
Okay, we gotta teleport the Vulva Volcano to get to this location.
Yes. So yes, we were queen of. So what I was to say. So we're immortal. So now when Vorticai wants to take over, we might have to do a vacation for 1,000 years in the first world.
Yeah.
So that was just,
Honestly, I don't think the Lantern King would want to invade just because we're continually at war. It's like, what point do I have? There's nothing but war here. She started war with the Sword Lords, pissed them off, pissed off Sertova, pissed off... We're on good terms with one kingdom. And it was the kingdom of that dude that sold out the Hell Knight, that the Hell Knights wanted to kill. And we just said, fuck it, we'll side with you. We could kill you and get ultra reward, but fuck it, let's let you have your own kingdom. So that's the only kingdom we're actually allied with, and it's a joke of a kingdom. It's one city.
If I may, fuck the Sword Lords.
Mm-hmm.
Did they just fuck them.
Yeah, we told Lindsay to make a page of the book just, right at the beginning, right as we went to see the Sword Lords. The intro to the chapter is fuck the Sword Lords. Just a solid page of fuck the Sword Lords, fuck the Sword Lords. Not because we personally have anything against it, just that Miss Scumfuck had something against them.
Oh yes, Miss Scumfuck. She didn't like that they didn't help, even though he didn't align with them and insulted them.
Yeah.
um.
Not only insulted them, but we turned Oleg's into the fucking border of a war zone, and has shifted his little shop into a fort and a city.
Yes, that's terrible, honestly. Mm-hmm. I could see why she didn't want to, even though, but I mean, we saved her life again, so,
Yeah, and the settlement we put right by, I think that was Snatch Sanctuary, we put right by Trobald. Yeah. I might be wrong. But the city we built right by Trobald was Education Central.
Yes. So
that way we could teach the trolls new tricks.
And apparently the trolls didn't eat humans. Garba.
Yeah. Oh, and that was close enough to the fucking lizard folk campment, too, that they could have gone to school there, too.
Yes. Many schools. Yes. Orphanage. You're talking about orphanage near the...
brothel.
Near the brothel. And, oh, yeah. Oh, thank you. Okay, that's my point. Jesus Christ, it only took me 10 minutes to... Anyway, Octavia forgiving her mother. Or not forgiving her, but, inviting her to live in Vagina Island, which is... I don't know if I would have done that. I mean... Okay, I get that her mother didn't really intend...
I can see there's something realistic, because some people are just able to say, okay, bullshit happened, no matter how severe... Okay. And forgive people, I've seen it happen where it's like, especially more Christian-minded people, where like, the murderer killed someone, but then, while they're in prison, they repented and they're willing to just accept their life sentence. And like, the guy's like, I forgive them.
I can see her point. She didn't intend for her to be a slave. She was going to, wait for his dad to die and then blah, blah, blah. And then the guy betrayed her or whatever. But at the same time, she could have just said, well, fuck you, Dad. And been poor but happy. So, but that, but then again, I'm a bit more vindictive. Oh, that's the point I was going to make, is that even the Pantheons, I like the Pantheons. And actually, I don't think that the Pantheon, because we chose the chaotic evil mother of monsters.
Yeah. I
personally probably would have chosen a different one.
I mean, Gorham's pretty cool, too, with just being war.
Yeah, but the one I would have chosen
would have been Callistria. You're a bit too vindictive. Mm-hmm.
Orgies and revenge.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have to worry about giving birth to a monster and being torn apart by an angry mob like the one girl.
Yeah.
You're nothing but a vindictive miscreant. Vindictive miscreant. We never got to name a character Elfin Cuntlapper. I'm sorry. That's an inside joke. That is the name I want to save for something. I read it once, and I'm saving that for someone special. But so that's yeah. I guess. I mean, but I'm a bit more vindictive than that. Although I've said it before, I can sort of see her point if she's looking at a vindictive thing. Here, mother, here's all the things that I've done. I'm in the Queen's court. I'm the Queen's advisor. And guess what? I did it despite the fact that you sold me into slavery. Here's everything I did without you. So I can see the fuck you.
But I wouldn't see it as a fuck you. I don't think she would be the type for that.
Well, I'm just saying. I mean, looking at it the way I would look at it, if I were to do that, I could sort of see the way I would do it would be, here's everything I've done without you. Even though I was a slave, Yeah, I guess.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what I'd be in real life. What sort of alignment? Probably some form of evil.
I'd probably be chaotic neutral.
I don't know what I would be. What do you think? I mean, in real life.
I think in real life you'd be closer to true neutral. Yes, you got
Yeah,
your more chaotic moments, but you're way too structured to be a true chaotic.
yeah, true. Well, sometimes. Sometimes, other times, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. But yeah, true. I don't know.
I mean, when I first met you, I would have said chaotic neutral.
I've become a bit, but at the same time, I mean, I have my vindictive moments. I mean, but I also, yeah, I guess. I mean, someone said I'd be more neutral evil.
Maybe. You
I don't
border
know.
that way sometimes.
But of course, the thing about evil is, of course, you can get away with a lot more in game than you can in real life. So
Uh-huh.
I guess we'd be neutral. I don't know. I lean towards chaos, but sometimes it doesn't happen. But yeah, that's so the pantheon. Yeah, I like Callistria. I like the vindictiveness and orgies. And,
You see, I like the entire Pathfinder pantheon, just because of how, well, at least the way it was in first edition. I don't know what changes they made in second. But the original publication shit, it gave you things to think about, like, I like the Rastil as the lawful good nature god and small communities and all this stuff. I mean, it's not something I would totally follow, but it was something I could respect.
yes,
I mean, just reading up the entire mythos, Abadar, that's one that I really, really liked, was, just being for society and building cities and shit.
I like Gorham.
Mm-hmm.
Blood for Gorham.
I mean, some of their evil deities were hit and miss for me. Their good ones also hit and miss. The neutrals actually had it pretty good.
I mean, I Lamastru's kind of interesting just because I'm gonna fuck anything that moves and try to get pregnant in order to have monster babies. But
Yeah.
that's not something that would ever appeal to me in like real life. I mean, it's fun to play and all that, but in real life, well, revenge is fun.
Revenge. Listen to reason. Revenge. Sorry, that's from Wing Commander.
Well, you were mentioning things that took me a while. You know how long it took me to figure out how to ram all my enemies out of or all my troop out of the sky without killing myself?
Probably a good few months.
Yeah, because I would happen my plane would get too much damage or whatever. But yeah, once I figured out how to do it, it was just, oh, help me, Blaze! I'm down! I'm down! He's down, Blaze! Yeah,
Yeah, I know. I kind of put him there. Yeah. Sucks to be him.
Damn it! You let another group die. Don't do it. Another group. This has been going on more than once. I'm sorry. That still makes me laugh.
Oh yeah.
So that's just Kingmaker was fun. I mean, it was just a great all around game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I said, if I was really nitpicking, I would, well, this, and this and that, but just generally it was.
Okay. The things mechanically were things took forever to do. Movement on the overworld map is, oh god, go through a mountain range. It's horridly slow. You're just like, please. And like waiting for certain events to go, even sitting there clicking the timer button day by day, waiting for it to pop up, that sucks. And getting the right, oh god. In order to get the decent ending for the lizard folk, you have to get a random encounter. So you have to go to the right area and get the random encounter. And since it's actually randomized, even though the random encounter itself is scripted, getting it is randomized.
Yeah.
So you have to sit there and wait for the random number to come up and say, hey, you got this now. And that takes fucking forever to do. I mean, some of these things you need that to get randomly or just fucking suck, because if it's a scripted event and necessary for something, I should get it fairly quick after getting the damn fucking place in the script where I need to do it.
Yeah.
And then I can decide. I mean, I don't mind if it's a scripted event, but whenever you make a necessary scripted event completely random, or else you fuck everything up.
Yeah, I mean, and I get all that, and I'm not disputing. I'm just saying, like, I mean, those are compared to what I could say about 3 or
Fallout
4 in
3.
Fallout. Yeah,
Oh God.
I
I
mean, I
mean,
liked
the
one
thing I liked
town.
about Fallout 3 was random encounters would interact with random encounters constantly. Same thing with 4. But the point is, in 3, I mean, the random encounters were a lot better in 3 because they were a lot more sparse and region locked, whereas in 4, it was like, oh my God. I mean, I understand you want to make this place seem more populated because it's that many years after the war, then it loses some of its flair with being a shanty towns and all this shit. So then why even build shanty towns for settlers if it's this populated and you can't go 2 feet without bumping into something?
Yeah.
Instead of enjoying, the blissful, oh my God, this is like complete entropy, complete,
But 3,
desolation. But 3, that had its good desolation moments.
as
To
far
actually sit
as
there and reflect that this is what we did to ourselves. But at the same time, it was so cartoony with so much shit.
and I mean, there were a couple characters I liked, but even then, I just liked them. I mean, I nuked the town that they lived in because it was like, it wasn't like, oh, I really want to save this. Like, I like Jericho. We saved Jericho, but
Mm-hmm.
even then, it wasn't like, if we didn't save him, it would have been
Yeah, I'm
that
just
bad
gonna
of a
sit here and fucking enjoy the fucking crater that was once my home.
So 3, I liked Moira. Moira was really the only one I really liked. Moira was the only one where if you killed her, I would have just, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
I like that if Moira's the only one that if you kill her, Jericho will attack.
Mm-hmm.
I respect that, and so she was really the only one. Whereas there were characters I liked, but it wasn't like, oh no, I actually don't want to press this nuke button because then they'll die. It was more like, okay, I like them, time to die. Whereas, like I said here,
The
you know,
loss of Moriarty was sad. But hey, at least the children of Adam got exactly what they wanted. And, of course, we were paid for clearing up that quest.
we had to sacrifice a character. My only concern was, would this piss off the nymph?
Mm-hmm.
If they said you have to sacrifice Knock Knock or you have to sacrifice Valerie, we would
No,
have,
that would have been
because
fuck no, but,
no,
this is a person we didn't care about, but it might have affected the opinion of the person we did care about.
kind of helped a
Nyrissa
little bit.
was oh god, I love that villain.
She was great.
I mean, it's totally understandable. Oh fuck, you fucked me over and did all this shit. Fuck you, I kill you. Going off pure emotion, but like you sit there with a moment of introspection, it's like, dear God, how insane would this drive someone being forced to crumble, to build up 1,000 societies just to force them to crumble and die before you?
And then after facing let's team up,
Uh-huh.
and everyone in your party's going, are you fucking serious? Are you serious right
Oh
now?
yeah, she only tried to kill me and destroy everything I was. It's
Oh
not
right,
like she was Tristan.
I forgot that's a turn on for Sarah Scumfuck.
Yeah.
So yeah, the whole thing was you have to sacrifice someone to bless Lamashtu, to get the blessing of Lamashtu. Then it was the cousin of the fucking Nyrissa, and yeah, she was whatever. I mean, she helped us a couple times, but it wasn't a big deal. But my fear, because I didn't know this happened, because I didn't look. my fear was that, wait a minute, we're killing her cousin. Are you sure Iris is not going to watch this and go? But then again, thinking about it, she did sort of turn her into a puppet. So,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if she said, here, you need to sacrifice a fucking, I don't know,
Knock, knock. No, I would have fucking decimated you. Valerie, I would have decimated you. Lindsay, I would have decimated you.
we did decimate you.
Yeah. You killed Lindsay. We started slaughtering everything in a blind rampage.
Yeah. Yeah. Fuck you. But yeah, it was just her. I was like, well, what if Nerissa? And I even asked, because you have a choice. What would the land? Because last time someone made a deal with the Horn Hunter Lantern King guy, it didn't go very well, did it?
No.
So I was wondering whether or not that was a trap, but apparently it wasn't at the end.
I mean, kind of was, but kind of wasn't.
But I don't know. Leafy chick.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, we teamed up with Nerissa.
Yeah.
We teamed up with the main antagonist. That's such a Sarah scumfuck move.
Oh, yeah. I respect the fact you backstabbed me at my most vulnerable point, Lander. You will now serve me for all eternity, if that was just an option.
Oh, and by the way, Lander, I'm immortal now, so when you die, I may bring you back to life. Again. I don't know. Is there like a limit to how much you can bring people back to life?
If they die of old age, you can't. But if they die of old age, you can't.
Yeah. Okay.
But if you do, then there's level penalty and constitution penalty, and once you run out of constitution points, you can't bring them back.
Yeah.
But there's also the fact that you can also turn them undead.
You turn Lander undead, you son of a bitch.
Now you have to serve me for all eternity.
Wait, but you just said you were getting born and leaving. Yeah, now you have to serve the Cyclops guy for all eternity.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like I said, it's just, I mean, I like reading stories where I care about the character. I like playing games where I care about the characters. But it seems very hard. I mean, I love, like I said before, I love the Soul Rider books, but I'm not saying it's not that I don't care about the character, because I don't want them to die, but it's like, if one of the main characters did die, they went through so many transformations. It's not like it's more like, okay. Where, Hitchhiker's Guide, that last book was sad.
Oh, yeah.
That last book was just, whoa. But yeah, Pathfinder was like, wow, I actually care about these characters.
Uh-huh.
So that's good. Anyway, I don't know. I don't know what else there's to say, really.
Alright, well, there we go. This has been the review of Pathfinder Kingmaker.
And other games. We like Pathfinder. If you haven't played it, play it.
Yeah. Other than the tabletop, well, of course, everyone does D&D. It's the same thing, just, different kind of rule set.
Yes, and avenge Lindsay's death.
Uh-huh.
We'll see you next time, folks.
Have fun.